What's up everyone, it's me, it's Jinsula. I hope you're having a good day and welcome to today's Pokemon GO discussion video. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about that new costume Pikachu. In case you didn't know, within Pokemon GO right now, there is a tie-in event for the World Championships 2024 happening in Hawaii. And within that tie-in event, there is a new costume Pikachu that's only going to be available during this event. And yeah, a lot of players are wanting this Pokemon because of how unique it looks. And on top of that, the shiny form is definitely going to be sought after, considering that we do not know if this particular Pikachu is ever going to return. So getting yourself a shiny of this Pikachu is definitely going to make your collection one that is going to be the envy of pretty much every single player. Now, there has been a lot of discussions online and within my local communities regarding how you can obtain this new costume Pikachu. Some players are very frustrated that you cannot get this Pokemon in the wild, that you basically have to take those extra steps to do a whole bunch of raid battles or complete field research tasks in order to get this new costume Pikachu. And I can understand that frustration because when it comes to the playstyle of a majority of Pokemon GO players, they would like the lowest effort possible for some of the best Pokemon, and that includes Pokemon that spawn in the wild. If we take a look at the Adventure Week event that we had last week, I think a lot of players were very frustrated that some of the most sought after shinies within that event were locked behind 7-kilometer eggs. That essentially made it a pay-to-win event, where only players who can afford a whole bunch of incubators had a better shot at getting the particular shiny that they wanted. Niantic totally could have gone that route for this new costume Pikachu. They could have had it where you could only obtain it from hatching 7-kilometer eggs, and if that was the case, then getting the shiny would have required a ton of spending and a lot of RNG going your way. But rather than doing that, they basically gave us two avenues that made it available to every single player without having it spawn in the wild. And I think this way is the right way to go. Basically, there's a free-to-play method, which is of course the field research tasks, and there's also a pay-to-win method that is the raid battles. So you had multiple avenues for getting this special Pikachu, and they also increased the shiny rate as well, so getting the shiny was a lot more feasible compared to previous events. And in my personal opinion, I would much rather have a highly sought after Pokemon with a higher shiny rate, but you had to do raid battles and field research tasks, rather than having it in the wild with a super low shiny rate. I think this is the better way to go when it comes to getting highly sought after shinies, and it's something that I wish Niantic would do. Rather than having them locked behind 7-kilometer eggs, I think they should have them in raid battles along with field research tasks instead. Give us players a lot better options for getting the Pokemon that we want, and in that way, you're not going to see deflated hype around certain events, and then you're going to have a lot more happy players and a lot less disappointed players. Seriously, I've really hated this trend that Niantic has been following, where they've been having some of the most sought after Pokemon behind egg hatching and raid battles specifically. I think what they need to do is have a good balance, and this event certainly did just that. By having this Pokemon in field research tasks, you're allowing players who would rather have a free-to-play option of possibly obtaining the shiny of this Pokemon and getting the Pokemon itself. But for players who are willing to spend money, well, they could go out and do a whole bunch of those Pikachu raids, and they could get their shinies that way. I really like this format as opposed to what they've been doing, and I really hope they end up doing this for future events where there's going to be a highly sought after Pokemon or a highly sought after shiny. I don't even know if they're doing this as a test case or they have some sort of deal going on with Nintendo for having this Pokemon be a lot more accessible. But seriously, this event feels so much better than what we had last week with Adventure Week, and I really do think there's a lot of positive lessons that Niantic could learn. With this World Championships tie-in event, I think a lot more players are excited compared to how they were with the Adventure Week, and that's very interesting because typically it's the other way around. With the World Championships and with the seasons end, players tend to not necessarily care because it's the end of the season. So any PvP Pokemon that they get, it may not be meta relevant in the next season. And then on top of that, with the World Championships, I feel like for a lot of players, they just simply do not care enough about PvP where they're going to focus in on all the PvP elements. But this time around, I feel like there's a much higher buzz around this event, and I think the big reason for that is specifically because of this new Pikachu. The fact that this Pikachu is incredibly unique, and there's a lot of players who would like its shiny form. I see a lot of people going out and doing a whole bunch of raids, and they're looking for those field research tasks. My Niantic campfire is just filled with a lot of different flavors and notes, stating that the field research task from the certain Pokestop is what gives you a Pikachu. So I think this is really good, and it's something that Niantic should very much focus in on. They should definitely pay attention to what is making this event a much higher success compared to the events that we had very previously. I mean, yeah, compared to Adventure Week, I'm actually having a lot of fun. I literally just uploaded a video yesterday talking about why I feel disappointed and bored about Pokemon Go. And then almost immediately after, I suddenly feel a surge of excitement towards Pokemon Go, and I think that cannot be overstated. So yeah, Niantic, if you happen to be watching this video, I really think you need to take note of what is working with this event and make sure you bring a lot of those elements to future events, because I think that's going to create a lot more longevity. Seriously, I feel like I really want to go out and play Pokemon Go right now. I mean, it's not even just this costume Pikachu. There's also carbing spawns all over the place. So for right now, I'm trying to get all the XL candies to max out my rank 1 carbink. And the fact that there's a Pokemon out there in the wild that I will easily farm up, I think that has added a lot of flavor and a lot of hype to this event that I wasn't feeling with the previous weeks. So yeah, I think there's a lot of positive things happening with this event. I mean, the wild spawns are interesting. There's the new costume Pikachu and the way you can obtain it. And on top of that, the raid battles are actually pretty decent. I mean, aside from Thundurus and Mega Kangaskhan, I think some of the 2-star or the 1-star and the 3-star raids are actually not that bad. So Niantic, if you're paying attention to this, you really need to take note of what's working. And for a lot of players out there who are really happy about this event, you need to voice that happiness as well so that Niantic is fully aware of what is working within Pokemon Go right now. But of course, even though I'm saying all these praises, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. I think a lot of the stuff that I mentioned in the video that I posted yesterday still stands when it comes to Pokemon Go. There's still a lot of things that they need to do. On top of all of this, they need to fix PvP, because I think it's incredibly embarrassing that they have one of the best PvP events that we've had in such a long time, and we have a world event right now happening in Hawaii. And yet PvP is a broken mess. For some of the tasks that I had where I had to complete PvP battles, I would jump into the Go Battle League, and once again I was reminded at how broken the system is. Almost every other battle was filled with lag and issues, and then on top of that I was getting a lot of wins that I feel like I shouldn't have deserved, mainly because there was a lot of people tanking their rating right now in preparation for the next season. And I really think that there should have been a lot more hype around this event if Niantic actually fixed PvP and got more players on board. But because there's so many players out there who just simply do not care about PvP, a lot of the wild spawns are stuff that they are ignoring. There's players out there who do not care about Carbink, even though it is currently ranked number 1 in the meta. And there's also players who do not care about Skarmory or Mindfu for the same reasons. And if Niantic really took a minute and polished up PvP and got more players to care about PvP, then these sort of events would definitely go a lot better within the Pokemon Go community. There's definitely a snowball effect whenever Niantic fixes a whole bunch of bugs. But Niantic hasn't been doing that, so I really hope they course correct, because there's a lot of potential here for some players to get really excited, but Niantic isn't tapping into that, so that's a real shame. But yeah, even with all that said, I still think this is a very positive event, and you gotta give credit where credit is due. I really do enjoy this tie-in event, and I think Niantic is doing a lot of good things. And I really hope they continue a lot of those good things in future events, because Pokemon Go definitely needs that positivity right now. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video. I just wanted to share my thoughts regarding this tie-in event. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I feel like it's coming at a very good time, because I've been contemplating quitting Pokemon Go. I know that's really crazy for me to say, because I'm such a huge advocate for this game succeeding, but Niantic hasn't been giving me reasons to see it succeed. So yeah, this event is a win. I'm gonna give it to them, and yeah. I really want to know what you're thinking though, because maybe I'm alone in this. Maybe there's a lot of players out there who are completely skipping this event. And I would like to know why. If that happens to be you, definitely share your thoughts in the comments below. And yeah, let's have a great discussion around it. And thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. If you ended up enjoying it and found it to be insightful, make sure you hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe if it's your first time here, as well as that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to all my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Content Slow channel, the obvious best way to do so is by supporting me on my Patreon by becoming a paid member. And if you do that, you will get a permanent spot on my in-game Pokemon Go friends list. So when it comes to stuff like remote raids in the friendship system, welcome. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. And if you want to support my channel in a different way that doesn't require spending money, you can do so by following me on social media. I'm on the platforms that you see on screen. My handle is @Jinsula. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow. And that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.
진솔아와 함께해 Pokémon GO 다 같이 와